Hello, this is Carley Shultz with Multimedia Writing and Storytelling, and today I'm here with Byron Kelly, and we're going to talk a little bit about frivolous lawsuits. Byron is an attorney in the Dallas area. Can you define for us what a frivolous lawsuit actually is?
I think that truly a frivolous lawsuit is one where an attorney or a person files a lawsuit in order to use the cost of the legal system as leverage to create an environment where they can gain money that they're not actually entitled to. For example, they have a minor accident and then they want to file a lawsuit and think that they're going to get a lot of money. You're supposed to have a lawyer in place that can evaluate the claim and then give counsel to the person who wants to sue and say, this isn't a good idea for you to do.
So, do you think that a part of that might be why lawyers get a bad rap sometimes?
Of course, I think that most people think about attorneys as ambulance chasers. There is a vocal minority of lawyers out there that are plaintiff lawyers that do file frivolous lawsuits. The problem is that that's actually a very small percentage of lawyers, but that small percentage are the ones who have television commercials, so that's who the regular person sees in their day-to-day life.
Do you see a lot of frivolous lawsuits come across your desk?
Recently, I have seen quite a few lawsuits that I would consider frivolous, and they're in the mortgage industry. What I mean by the mortgage industry are homeowners who take a loan out and use their home to secure the loan. Then they decide that they don't want to pay their mortgage. It suddenly becomes the bank's fault, so they file a lawsuit against the bank. And when you file a lawsuit against the bank, it creates delay.
So, what do you think can be done to cut down the number of frivolous lawsuits that you see?
There has been some action taken. In Texas, there's been what's called tort reform. What that did is put a cap on punitive damages. And I think that this tort reform was actually a bad program. So what I believe is that you could create a system to where, almost kind of like in the criminal side, you have a grand jury that goes through, and you have to get through a grand jury with an indictment before you can actually have a trial. And the grand jury kind of does away with cases in the criminal sphere that don't have any evidence. Well, you could do something similar in the civil sphere. What you could say is, if your case is kicked back, then you are required to pay the attorney fees for the defense as well as your own attorney fees. And when you would do that, you really would create an environment that causes people to think and evaluate their case more carefully before they decide to sue someone.
Yeah, because I think we probably both heard the term sue happy. So how do you think you stop an individual from doing that?
It's a hard question to answer because it's very important that we have the freedom to file lawsuits. And so if your only goal is to prevent people from filing frivolous lawsuits, then it would be fairly easy to do. You could really tax the lawsuit. So you would make it very difficult to file a lawsuit and very costly to file one and say, if you're wrong, you're going to have to pay all these fees. But that can't be our only concern, because it's also important in a free society to allow people the freedom to get recourse. So it's a tricky solution. I don't think there's any real clear-cut response that you could give that would not take away other important freedoms.
Well, I think that's about it today, Byron. Thank you for talking to me today and giving us a little education on frivolous lawsuits.